Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I'll be talking about a rookie that impressed a lot of people from the Washington Commanders, and also fans. We'll also be doing a stock up and stock down from the Washington Commanders' first preseason game against the New York Jets. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well. All those things help out a ton. And let me know down below which player impressed you the most and which player maybe disappointed you the most or had the worst performance out of anyone. Go ahead, do what you want, but just comment down below. All those things help out a ton. And check out BetUS like usual. But let's get into, we'll first talk about this rookie that I really think at least impressed me and impressed a lot of other people. And then we'll get into a little bit of stock up, stock down. So the guy that impressed me was Ben Senet, the rookie tight end, second round pick for the Washington Commanders. He had a 44-yard catch, and he exactly what you saw when you watched his highlights. I didn't watch his film, but when you watched his highlights, exactly what you saw there is what you saw in this play, this 44-yard run. I mean, I guess I watched a tiny bit of film on him, but not a lot. So really what I watched mostly was highlights, and you would see him catch a 15-yard, 20-yard pass and then run with like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys on top of him trying to tackle him and getting those extra yards. And that's exactly what happened on this play. And, PFF had him at an 87.2. I don't really care too much about what PFF says, but you got to take it with a grain of salt with PFF. But sometimes sometimes you can use it to match the eye test a little bit or match what you see in film. And 87.2 is a very, very good grade. And you guys can see some of the other guys that I'll be talking about in a second. But yeah, Ben Senet was very good. And some people are like, why are you pronouncing it Ben Senet? He says that's how you pronounce it, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. But some people still say Ben Senet. But he had a 44-yard catch. And we look at his stats. He had 3 catches, I believe. 3 catches, 57 yards on 3 targets. So was the most targeted player. I mean, there was a few other guys that had 3 targets as well. Diami, Luke, McCaffrey, Bryson Tremaine, Jahan, and Marcus Rosemy-Jackson. But he was the only guy that caught all 3 of those passes. Was working mostly with the threes, but that's fine. He's going to continue to get better and better. Jim Nagy had some praise for him here. Says he's going to be a matchup problem. I'm going to look up Ben Senet here on Twitter and see if I can find any other things to watch so you guys can see. But yeah, he had a very solid game. Here's a clip. I just don't want to show the main stuff because sometimes that gets copyrighted. But I'll show this right here. Quality not so great, but we can see Ben Senet with a solid catch right here. We'll start right here. And he's right there and pretty open. Makes the catch and is able to get a couple yards after that. Let's see. Just trying to break it up here just in case the copyright. But you see there, so it's really, really hard to bring Ben Senet down. So it's going to be very tough for defenders to bring him down once he gets the hang of things and he gets used to the NFL life. You see there, whatever, I'm just going to play the whole thing. And you see that gets a few. And it takes a lot of guys to bring him down. So I know I've repeated that a ton, but it's just a common theme. And if you watch the highlights, they're obviously going to play it. The 44-yard catch was very impressive. Catch was fine, but then bringing, basically dragging 3-4 guys with him for like a bunch of extra yards. You love to see that. And that first guy can't get him down, and then it takes a second and a little bit of a third guy to get him down. So he was really good in this game. And I put this tweet out. I was like, he might be a type of player that is a better, and I talked about this yesterday in the video recapping the game if you want to watch that. He might be a better in-game player than practice players, or a practice player. Sometimes that's what happens with these guys. Taylor Heineke, for example, much better in-game player than a practice player. Still not an amazing quarterback by any means, but he had his moments, of course. Fan favorite. One of my favorite players that I've watched since started liking this team. But he was a better in-game player. Guys like DeShazier Everett, maybe even Jeremy Reeves. Like some of those guys, they're not discovered until they start balling out on the field because they weren't really practice guys. And that could be the case with Ben Senet. And hopefully, this game gave him a little bit of confidence, because that is one thing, and that's why I kind of making him the topic of this video is because he hasn't had a great camp so far. Working with the 2s and 3s and dropping some passes, and you're not really hearing his name. But now, his first game, you heard his name and had led the team in receiving yards and caught every pass thrown his way and had a 44-yard catch, which was the longest play in the game, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, longest play in the game. So he had a good game, and I just want to, show some love to him, and let's see what he, continues to do for the Washington Commanders. And hey, maybe next game he plays a little bit better and you start hearing his name a little bit more in practice. But let's get into some other guys that balled out. I'm not going to talk about Jaden too much. Made basically a whole video about him yesterday. Or at least the first half of the video was talking about him. He balled out, looked really good. Besides that first throw, which was not good, but probably just some, first game jitters. That 42-yard pass to Dyami Brown was outstanding. Checked that play. Didn't like the look he saw originally, and changed the play and threw a dime to Dyami Brown. Threw another pass to Terry that was solid. I mean, nothing crazy, but he completed it. And then had a nice run. I like that call from Cliff Kingsbury there, and ran it in for 6. So Jaden Daniels had a very good day. Dyami Brown, really good day in my opinion. PFF gave him a 91 PFF grade. He had 2 catches, 55 yards, had the 42-yard catch, had another nice catch as well. Shout out Dyami Brown. Maybe he's the number 2 receiver for the Commanders this year if Jahan doesn't step up. I don't know, but he's obviously a roster lock, and we got to see it in game, though. Not even in game, we got to see it consistently in game, because he's had his moments before. The Titans game where he had 100-something yards, 2 touchdowns, and just had an insane game. I've never seen like a breakout performance like that almost ever. I mean, Terry had a really good first game, but like it's not like we were thinking Terry's going to be bad. Dyami just never did anything, and then absolutely just blew up that one game, and then really hasn't done a lot ever since. But let's see what he does. And he can play on special teams as well. He's making this team, of course. The question is he wide receiver 2, 3, or maybe 4? If Jahan steps up and he balls out and he's what we think, or the talent we think he can be, he's going to be number 2, and Dyami's going to be 3 or 4. And then it just, depends on Zacchaeus, maybe Crowder, Luke McCaffrey. But at this point, I don't think Luke McCaffrey is going to surpass Dyami this year. Maybe at the end of the year. I don't know. But yeah, shout out to Dyami making some tough catches. Hopefully it continues. Definitely rooting for him. He's putting in a lot of work. I think he said he's catching 500 balls a day, so that's really difficult to do. So shout out to Dyami Brown. Let's go over some other guys. I thought Zacchaeus had a good game. His punt return, 19 yards, really good there. Showed some explosiveness there. Showed some speed. Didn't like that he bobbled it, but hey, barely. If you noticed, if you know, you saw it. But that was a good play by Zacchaeus. Had another catch that was called back, but shout out Zacchaeus. He's making this team. Maybe he's wide receiver 2. I don't know. Probably not. But shout out to Zacchaeus. He had a good game and probably is our punt returner. And these were the highest graded players on offense. Alex Taylor. I'm not going to pretend like I know what he did, but I guess, PFF says he had a good game. So I don't know if I'm going to necessarily 100% trust it, but a shout out there. Some defensive players. Nick Whiteside, 90.6 PFF grade. Gonna be honest, was watching on my phone because was watching the Olympics at a little barbecue, and couldn't, they didn't have the game on, of course, preseason versus Olympics. But so I couldn't really notice everything, and I didn't really notice Nick Whiteside, but shout out to him. If you guys did, let me know. Mike Sainristil, noticed he made at least 1 or 2 tackles that I saw. Let's see how many tackles they have him listed at. He got, let's see. I know he got one. Yeah, he got 1 tackle, and I guess his coverage wasn't bad if his grade up here is a 79. Jordan McGee, saw he had a nice tackle. Forbes, okay. And the guys I've talked about so far are stock up. Diami, Zacchaeus, Ben Senet, Jaden Daniels. We'll go Alex Taylor, sure, and some of these guys as well. I know Emmanuel Forbes is, graded as the 8th best player here. I do not care. Or this is the 8th best defensive player. Here's the thing. Let's look at the names on this list. These are all, besides Frankie Louvu, these are all backups. And I guess Mike Sainer still's a starter, but he's a rookie, and his grade's significantly better than Emmanuel Forbes. Emmanuel Forbes was covering guys that might not make the squad. He might not make the Jet squad. Let's look at, what was the guy's name? Number 16. I forgot his name. But he had Jason Brownlee. That's the guy that cooked Forbes on the play. I mean, he didn't get cooked like crazy, but he's still like, Jason Brownlee shouldn't be cooking you and scoring a touchdown on you. He had 5 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown in all of 2023. Like, this is not a guy that, I mean, he'll probably make the roster if he made it last year, but they also added Mike Williams. I don't know. He could make it, he could not. Besides the point. Forbes should not be getting cooked by Jason Brownlee. And that's why, like, I don't really care about the PFF grade there, because it's 71.4, but he's supposed to be a starter, a first-round pick, and he's going up against backups. So his grade should be high. It should be a 85, 90 when you're going up against guys that might not make the squad. So, I mean, again, all these guys that he's, up against right here, or ranked near, are backups, basically, besides a few, like Frankie Louvu and Mike Sainer still. All these other guys might not even make the team. Like Chig, probably not going to make the team. I'm rooting for him. KJ Henry will make the team, but he's a backup probably. Jalen Harris not going to make the squad. Dom Hampton, a rookie. Like, you should, I don't want to rant on Emmanuel Forbes too much, because at this point, like, there's not much more to say. I'm rooting for him. It's preseason. It doesn't matter a ton. But when you continue to see these struggles, and you saw them in joint practice, albeit against an elite receiver, it's just not encouraging. But you're going to be going up against elite receivers. That's the problem. You're going to be going up against top-tier receivers this year. A.J. Brown, they better not put him on A.J. Brown, but still, you're going to go up against him, Devonta Smith. Like, it's just really difficult. I'm not going to put too much stock into it because he's got some other preseason games that he can play. And, hey, he's going up against the best receiver in football this week, or one of them at least, in Tyreek Hill and, Jalen Waddle. So let's see what he does against them. But I would say stock down for Emmanuel Forbes. Stock down for Riley Patterson, who had a missed kick. Yeah, definitely stock down for that. I'm just going to do a little bit of a rapid fire here, just because we're getting a little bit, getting into a longer video, and I like to keep it somewhat quick for you guys. Michael Wiley, stock up. 8 carries, 34 yards, a touchdown. Thought he was pretty good. Jeff Driscoll, a little bit stock up. He had a solid game, had a nice 16-yard carry. Marcus Mariota, a lot of people were, hating on him. I personally didn't see a ton that was bad. He threw one pass for 6 yards and had that bad rush. Only playing one snap. I'm not gonna say stock down, but whatever. You guys, a lot of you guys actually watched the game on a full screen, so maybe I missed something. Chris Rodriguez, a little bit stock down. That's not all on him, because some of those handoffs were just not great in terms of the design there, or maybe how they were blocked. But 6 carries, 0 yards, can't happen. Let's see, any other guys. Jahan Dotson, a little bit stock down, was playing with the 2s and even a little bit of the 3s, and had a bobble, but not really big stock down, but something to watch out for. I'm trying to think of any other guys on. Luke McCaffrey, I would say, like, maybe stock slightly up. Was working with the 2s and 3, or the 3s, but we knew that was going to happen. But he did ball out when he did get on the field there. Defensively, I'm trying to think, like, Jamin Davis had some good reps on special teams. Tyler Owens, I want to give a shout out to him, had a nice special teams tackle and some other plays as well. He's had a really good camp, made a video about him. I think he has a good shot at making this team, especially after showing stuff like that on special teams. So watch out for Tyler Owens. And he's just a freak of nature, And if he keeps doing this and making plays, he's going to be making this team. He will make this team. They're going to find a way to put him on the squad. Benning, P had a sack. Shout out to him. And that's really it that I would say. Not a ton of guys stock down, but I would say Riley Patterson for sure. Missing that field goal. Can't be doing that. That he's probably the biggest stock down out of anyone, and him and Forbes, I would say. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, do all that good stuff. It really does help with the channel. And comment down below. Let's go ahead. I had to go ahead and think about a player real quick, but go ahead and comment down J.D. McKissic. A little bit of a fan favorite if you guys stayed till the end. Peace.